It is possible. The Mediterranean Sea has been an inspiration for its people, the source of life and love, the epitome of nature. The people of the Mediterranean, the countries, the cultures, share common values that have led to remarkable
We now continue with a small concert for your enjoyment, and this is brought to us by two wonderful sisters, Yelda and Neva Özgen. Yelda will play for us the cello, and she studied the violoncello, orchestra, and chamber music at the Istanbul University State Conservatory. She currently is an associate professor at the Istanbul Technical University's Turkish Music State Conservatory. She is also the manager of the Istanbul Technical University Dr. Erol Üçer Center for Advanced Studies in Music. Her sister Neva will play for us the kemençe, classical instrument of ours, and she holds a Bachelor of Arts, Masters of Arts, and a PhD from the Istanbul Technical University Turkish Music State Conservatory. Currently, she's also an associate professor playing classical kemençe at her alma mater in the Department of Instrumental Performance. Ladies, Neva Hanım, Yelda Hanım, buyurun.
Welcome to our little concert. Thank you very much for the invitation. We are proud to be here. Thank you very much, dear Professor Gülsüm Sağlaner, for inviting us. So I would just like to announce the program that we're going to play today. But first, if you already know probably the cello, the instrument, but if you don't know the instrument kemençe, I'll talk a little bit about the instrument. This instrument is used in the Turkish makam tradition. So also today we're going to perform a small repertoire from Turkish makam music. This music is really from 600 years old tradition from Ottoman Empire, from the palace. So this instrument also just accepted in the palace during 20th century. And also today we're going to perform, as today it's the a woman event, we would like to play women composers for you. The first piece is Rast Peşrebi. Peşre means like prelude, played in the beginning of a concert. And it is an instrumental piece by Reftar Kalfa. Reftar Kalfa is the first known Turkish woman composer in the Ottoman palace around 17th century. So the second and third piece will be songs. So the singer will be today here, my dear sister Neva.
With my instrument, actually, not my...
her instrument, not her voice, but with instrument. So the other two pieces are songs of Neveser Kökteş. Again, a woman composer, lived in the 20th century. She is more, I mean, you will probably understand she's modern,
romantic period.
Romantic period. Also, it reflected in her compositions. We will be playing 2 songs. And then at the end, we will be finishing again Reftar Kalfa, Sasemaisi. And also these names of the piece are the names of the makams actually. The first piece is Rast Peshrevi. It means it's in Rast makamı. And then the other pieces is Rast song, makam song, and then at the end, Rast Sasemaisi of Reftar Kalfa. Thank you very much again for listening. Please enjoy. Improvisation called Taksim.
Thank you.
Neva Hanım ve Yelda Hanım'a, we thank you very much. It was a wonderful, wonderful concert. Thank you so much. And now I would like to present to you, for the introduction of the evening, Gülsün Sağlamer, President of Evora and former Rector of the Istanbul Technical University.
Dear colleagues, It's a great pleasure for me to welcome you to the Gala event of the announcement of the Mediterranean Science Team. This is the third time I'm on the stage, so I feel a little bit embarrassed, so please forgive me. I have the honor of being the chair of the jury for the years 2021 and now 2023 this year. This year, we originally organized the gala on 9th of February 2023, but unfortunately, the devastating earthquake disaster happened in the south part of Turkey. Thousands of people lost their lives, and many cities and settlements had been almost destroyed. So we had to postpone the gala ceremony and later have an opportunity to create a joint program with Evora that made us very proud of having so many eminent women rectors here with us here today. This year, we have had 6 eminent scientists as our jury members from different Mediterranean countries to evaluate 35 entries to define the 11 winners among them. It was not easy process for the jury, as we have had very successful scientists, male and female, from all around the Mediterranean basin. We have looked at how they are focused on Mediterranean region's problems, together with, of course, the originality and maturity of their achievements, besides the balance of different scientific areas. In the first step of the evaluation process, all the jury members voted for each candidate in a fashion of secret ballot in their homes and sent their evaluation results to the project coordinator. It was not an easy task for all the jury members to evaluate all the successful candidates and make a choice of defining the winners. In the second step, we held an online jury meeting to finalize the evaluation process and make a list of 11 winners. The surprise of the year 2023 is that all 11 winners are women. This was a gorgeous result based on the success of the female candidates. I am sure these colleagues will set excellent role models for young girls and women academics all around Mediterranean countries. I would like to give the list of the before that. I would like to congratulate all the 11 scientists who are forming the 2023 Mediterranean Science Team. I would like to congratulate the organizers of this Midnight project from the beginning. My special thanks for Ricardo Dominguez, who contributes a lot but not like to be seen in front of row as a modest and humble person. I also would like to thank our partner organization in the name of the following representatives that we have worked together very closely in this process. Theo Anagnostopoulos, if I pronounce it wrong, I'm sorry, I apologize. Midnight coordinator and founder of SCICO. Pandora Sifnioti, STEM director at the same group. Giorgio Loikidao, I apologize again, and Lily Bakogiani from the same organization. Ricardo Dominguez, again, Yover, Midnight Communication Manager. Lorena Sanchez, Mediterranean Science Team Coordinator. Hülya Çağlayan, Evora General Secretary. Before we go to the list of the winners, I would like to thank Rector of Kadir Has University, Sondan Durukanoğlu Feyiz, who devoted her time and energy and hosted this event here in this beautifully restored and designed Kadir Has University campus building. I would like to thank our honored guest, Professor Canan Atılgan, who is the president of the Turkish Academy of Sciences. She's a professor of materials science and nanoengineering, elected member of MBO, elected member of Academia Europe, and also received many prizes from prestigious organizations. We are proud of having her with us, especially as a woman president of the Turkish Academy of Sciences. Dear distinguished guests, I think the Mediterranean Basin universities have a great potential to lead the pioneering scientific and technological research projects, especially on the issues such as climate change, environmental issues, food production and safety, healthcare, population growth, besides offering equal rights and equal opportunities to female and male scientists all around Mediterranean Basin. I hope in the coming years ahead of us, we will be able to save our beautiful Mediterranean Sea, to set a good practice to be proud of ourselves. Before I announce the 11 elected scientists, I would like to share our respected jury members with you. Gülsün Sağlamer, Sondan Feyiz Durukanoğlu, Nakva Abdel Mekuit, if he's here. Oh, you are here. Yeah, sorry. Carmen Fenol and Nectarius Tavernarakis, Juan Fuster, and Anna Costa Freitas. Okay. Now it's time to introduce you the award winners. I will briefly mention their research areas, but you will see them and hear more about their research during the T-shirt ceremony. Yes, this is the custom of the midnight, you know. So the first winner is Seda Keskin Avcı, Turkey. If she's here, can she? Is she here? Okay, okay. Okay, the second winner is Serim İlday. Okay, thank you. Cristina Romero Castillo from Spain. Thank you. Luisa De Cola, Italy. Luisa is not here. Raja Cherkoi El Morsli. Would you please pronounce your name correctly? It's not easy, so I forgive myself. Nice name, but difficult for a Turkish person to pronounce it. Sonia Hamami, not here. Despo Fata Kostinos, Cyprus, not here. Najat Saliba is our honor guest. Safa Kumari, very nice to have you, from Syria. Helena Conhao from Portugal. No. And Sarah Abdel Kader from Egypt. Okay. So we have listed all of our colleagues. I think 6 or 7 of them joining us here today. So now we can start the ceremony, I think. So floor is yours. Thank you. I would like to congratulate all of the winners, and I'm proud of having 11 female winners this year. I hope in the coming year it will not be reduced than half of the female winners. So at least we should have half. Thank you.
Thank you, Gülsün Hanım. How appropriate to be here on Evra's together with Evra. Sondan Durukanoğlu Feyiz, our Kadir Has host and rector, unfortunately had to leave, so I will proceed by inviting Theo Anagnostopoulos to make his speech for midnight. Would you please join us?
Good afternoon, everybody. Kadir Has University and Evora, thank you so much for the hospitality here. I am from Athens, Greece. Every time I come to Istanbul, it feels like home. It's your hospitality which does that. I would like to talk a little bit about the main message of today's event, which I think it's inclusion and diversity. I was reading a few weeks ago that throughout the COVID era, the most affected areas were usually the minority areas, the ones that were poorer and isolated. I was reading about that group of Hispanics somewhere in the States that they were suffering very much, and there are obvious reasons why this is happening. It's because they depend a lot of work which is physical. They don't have very good access to medicines. They don't have much space to distance themselves, and various other reasons. Now, what is interesting is when the vaccine came out, the lowest adoption of vaccination was coming from those minority groups. They had the least adoption, something like 13 or 14% of vaccinations. There's many reasons why this is happening. One of them has to do with them being informed properly, but one of the main ones is about who comes out with those guidelines. Usually those scientific guidelines come out from white men. And when you're given information, any type of information, by somebody that you do not resonate with, you do not connect with it very much. On the other side, if in those scientific teams, committees, they were represented by members of your people as well, then it's one of your people advising you to vaccinate yourself. Science is becoming so important, it has always been so important, but public understanding of science and engagement has become so important, for example, the last 3 years. One, with the pandemic, and secondly, with climate change. I come from Athens, a modern city belonging to the European Union. 2 months ago, people in Thessalia, which is probably about 200 kilometers away, in the city of Larissa, drowned in their own sleep because of the floods. You're sleeping and you drown in your house, because the water is up to here. We had the biggest wildfire in Europe in the last, I don't know how many hundreds of years. It's happening. So we were talking about public understanding of science. Oh, so nice for people to understand science. But now it's different. Things are happening. It's interconnected in our lives every day. And this is what the concept of Midnight was to be 4 years ago when it was created. We're all countries that were connected by the sea, the Mediterranean Sea. Hence, this researchers' night became Mediterranean night, Midnight. And it started as a Hispanic, Spain-only group, and now it has 10 partners from 6 countries. And if we're lucky we'll be even more in the next round. So we've done a lot of work over the last 3 or 4 years, a lot of events, guerrilla science as we call it, with Mind the Lab, workshops, shows, talks, everything, a lot of activities. But I think one of the major highlights of the things we've done together was to announce the Mediterranean Science Team. And this is because coincidentally it happened to be all women, which is absolutely great, but we wanted to honor the leaders, the women leaders coming from all around the Mediterranean and the work that they do. And we are hoping that this will be the seed for more collaboration between us and more real-life connection of science and life. Let's celebrate those ladies. Thank you very much.
Thank you for these inspiring words and important messages, Mr. Anagnostopoulos. I would now like to invite our keynote speaker, Canan Atılgan. Canan Hanım is the president of Bilim Akademisi, Science Academy of Turkey, elected member of EMBO and Academia Europea. Also, she is a Biophysical Society's ambassador to Turkey and faculty member at the Faculty of Engineering and Natural Sciences at Sabancı University. Canan Hanım, please, thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Dear colleagues, I'm really, really honored to be invited to be part of this unique Science for Peace project. So it's being an Evora event and all winners being women, I wanted to kind of convey some ideas about what I think, how women change science and the scientific scene. So I hope you bear with me. So the founders of Evora had great insight when they came together, and I applaud them for it. Let me explain why I think women as decision makers make a difference in the academic settings. Well, Evora brings together immense experience in the governance of the academic scene, a scene that's unfortunately dominated by male way of thinking and operating. In this scene, women are usually assigned roles of the helper. They are also the savior. My own institution, Sabancı University, had twice had to go through periods where the rectorship was evacuated prematurely and unexpectedly. And in both times, we had interim rectors, and lo and behold, they were women. Well, they did their job very well until the university found a male president which would take on the role, and the search process was completed. So they were able to make those decisions that had been put on hold while women interim rectors were saving face for the university. So it's well known that the vice positions like vice rector, vice dean, etc., they are now regularly women appointed to those positions. And I think this is for the idea of to save face most of the time. For example, our Higher Education Council publishes these numbers with high, maybe even higher than world averages for women people being in roles of leadership. But when you take out the vice positions, the bare fact is that the decision-making positions are rarely women. As of a few months ago, I don't know if this changed, we have 207 universities in Turkey, and 17 of them have women rectors. That's around 8%, which is 15% in Europe, for example, so about half. So women are indeed perceived as excellent helpers to carry out the decisions, but they are rarely in the place to make the call, to roll out their ideas for the betterment of the university, and of course, they also help tick the boxes when a university management is required to display proof of gender equality. Like nowadays, you have to, if a professor in your university is submitting to Horizon project, you have to have these equity statements, so having women in these roles helps them, right? Well, these years have heard a male dean brag about how he filled all the vice dean positions by women. And they did such a fantastic work, he was saying. Not in my university, by the way. They worked so well, perfect choices, but he was there for a second term, and none of them accepted the positions a second time. Why? Because he was having 7 a.m. meetings, and the women could not keep up with his pace. They had children to send home, send to school. So, you know, this is the way of thinking that's dominating. But here we are in this room, brought together by the leadership of Evora, and we know that these are missed opportunities. What happens when women are given a seat at the table? The fresh and unique perspective brought in by a woman can revolutionize an economic environment. Women are unafraid to test uncharted territory, to carry the university to the next era, but when they do that, they do so with solidarity by bringing together people with diverse background and picking their brains about how to do this best. Let me give you an example. So my university, it was established, it took its first students in 1999, and it is the one with the liberal arts idea. So in the first year, all students take the science course, which is in physics, chemistry, biology, not separate, but in an integrated science idea. So all students are supposed to take this. 10 years or so in, we knew that the students' learning styles had changed, so we had to make a change in the way this course was taught. And then a team led by Zehra Sears, who was one of those interim rectors that I talked to you about earlier, she put together a team who would kind of bring together the ideas of flipped classroom learning and, you know, recording the classes and talking to students, new ways of learning, bringing that into the classroom environment. So we revised as a group of scientists, mostly women, to redo this course. And Sondan Durkanoğlu Feyiz, who is the director here now, she was our vice rector at the time. She made sure that we got the funding for this. And we did a fantastic job, in my opinion, since 2015 or so. And not everybody was on hold, like the second year, third year professors were saying, are these really learning, etc. You know, they were kind of not contributing. But came the pandemic, we had to all go online, and this team was ready to teach the whole university how to use all these online tools, and, you know, we were really going forward. So it was forward thinking, this is the future came too fast, and we were ready for it, with the leadership of 2 women, given a seat at the table. So, today I address you as the president of Science Academy, Bilim Akademisi Türkiye. We have 2 science academies in Turkey, if you know about this or not. So the older Academy of Sciences, there was a political intervention at some point, and as you all know, academies elect their own new members, and this is how they grow. But the political decision was to appoint 2/3 of the members from the outside by political leadership. So people refused, and there was this discussion going back and forth, and then 62 of the 82 members resigned to form the new academy, of which I'm now the president. And we have around 200 members, and we grow in the way that I mentioned. Now, thank you. So if you go to our webpage, on the first page, you will see merit, freedom, and integrity. So, liyakat, özgürlük, dürüstlük in Turkish. And the reason for this is clear, right? These people had gone through, I just got to be a member the next year, so I was not establishing that motto. Think about what is merit, what is freedom, what is integrity. But please take a moment. When you talk about scientific merit, scientific freedom, scientific integrity as researchers, what comes to your mind? Because there are two ways of looking at it. In one way, you can think of it like, okay, I have to have the freedom to do my research the way I choose to do it, and I have to have integrity. I should not cheat while I publish, and I have to have merit in this, right? Nice research. I'm sure, because you are here, that most of you think of this in the broader term, in the term of, you know, also cultivating your environment, scientific environment, teaching in the classroom, the lab, the people you care for. Do you treat them with merit, freedom, and integrity? So we had this discussion a few years back when one of our members actually was accused of mistreating somebody in their lab. And a group of scientists said, we should not look into these dealings of these big scientists. They will do what they will do. As Science Academy, we have to just focus on the science part and forget the rest. I fought this, and also with the help of support of a number of predominantly women colleagues. We revised our motto and the descriptions below it with the broader terms of how do you bring merit, freedom, integrity to cultivate your scientific environment, to include everyone. Don't leave anybody at the back. So why? So in my experience at least, it's usually not the preference of scientists to accept to take on leadership roles. After all, you know, you want to be, you're in the academia, you have passion for science, you want to maybe emphasize it in your research or teaching or your outreach, but that's the passion part, right? Usually people don't want to be in these leadership roles. However, on the other side, it's the job of the leader to make sure that scientists fulfill this passion by creating the right environment where they can work for their goals, right? So let's ask the question then, does the presence of women make a difference for science at all? You know, would the theory of evolution by natural selection not be spelled out if it were not for Darwin? I'm sure somebody else would have come along to come up with it, right? Or Newton's laws would certainly be cast by someone else if he wasn't around at some nearby point in time, right? So, you know, does research change by making sure there are more women in the environment? So today we know that science needs women and minorities. Because the richer the mix of research with the ideas and experiences, the better off the world is with discoveries that touch upon more people. Just last week I was at a conference where I listened to this fantastic research. A woman researcher, she was awarded for her research in vaccines. So here's what she did. They discovered they were following these markers in our blood after vaccination. How is your immune system responding, right? And these numbers, you know, they had Ebola virus vaccine and other things as well. And in affluent parts of the world, people were getting extremely nice responses from their immune system. But if you go to Africa, if you go to sub-Saharan region, and also especially in the poorer parts of the region, their response was about 1/3, and not in just one of those vaccines, in like 6, 7 different ones. So we develop these vaccines in the affluent parts of the world, we optimize it for those affluent people, and then we want to use them on the poorer people who actually need them. So now, due to her research, people are reconsidering how to develop vaccines. Whose response in their immune system are you going to look at? And it's not genetic differences, by the way, they also show that. And she put together, with this unique perspective, she put together a great team of scientists from Africa, from Europe. She put in the effort to realize this research. This is something I know in my experience that a woman can do. So, today I see that you are awarding a wonderful group of women, which is great, who have made significant contributions to their fields that span oceanography, nanotechnology, nuclear safety, health sciences, environment. They are from all around the Mediterranean: Spain, Turkey, Cyprus, Morocco, Tunisia, Portugal, Syria, Lebanon, Italy, Egypt. They have realized truly interdisciplinary projects that reach out to bring on board social scientists, activists, governmental agencies to work together. The world, and in particular the Mediterranean region, is a safer, more pleasant a place to live in because of the contributions of these women, and I'm honored to be part of this gathering. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Canan Hanım. Thank you for stressing the importance of diversity and the importance of values in science. Thank you. It is now with great joy and an honor that I will start to introduce our wonderful award-winning scientist. Our first scientist is Cristina Romero Castillo, oceanographer who works at the Institute of Marine Sciences in Barcelona. She has a degree in chemistry and a doctorate in marine sciences. Cristina's research focuses on the oceanic carbon cycle, and she's currently studying the impact of microplastics on marine ecosystems and the bacteria capable of degrading them. And to recognize her achievement, I invite former rector and professor of plant biology at the Universidad of Castilla-La Mancha, Carmen Fenol.
So, Cristina Romero, it is a great honor to give you this T-shirt that we hope to know. Vale.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to thank the Midnight Project for this award, and also also Carmen Fenol, and also the Évora for hosting us, because it has been a happy coincidence that both events coincide. So I'm learning a lot from these amazing women who are a role model for me. So, well, I'm going to explain what I'm doing. So I study ocean science. The main problems, the main challenges, not go back. I can change it from here, no? No. Okay, so the main problems that the ocean is facing are much more worse if we are talking about the Mediterranean Sea, because the Mediterranean Sea is a semi-enclosed basin which has a lot of anthropogenic pressure, because there are a lot of people living in its coast. One of the problems that the ocean is facing, and the Mediterranean particularly, is the plastic pollution. And this is what I'm studying. So here we have the carbon cycle, and maybe you are wondering what have this to do with plastic pollution. But the carbon cycle is a series of processes by which the carbon is changing from one compartment to the other, for example, from the atmosphere to the ocean, and from the ocean to the soil, and so on. And this determines climate. And since plastic is made of carbon, when it's degraded, it releases chemicals that are made of carbon, and this can impact the carbon cycle. And this is what I'm studying. So when plastic receives the sunlight radiation, it starts to degrade. It can fragment into microplastics, but both of them, plastic or microplastic, release these chemicals. And these chemicals can be harmful for us. For example, if they are released in our beverage or food, this is something that happens actually. But they can be also harmful for the marine organism. And what I'm studying here is how these chemicals affect marine organisms, also bacteria, marine bacteria that are able to degrade them, to remove them because they can be toxic. Also, I'm studying how these chemicals, which are made of carbon, can impact the pool of carbon that is in the ocean, dissolved in the ocean, the dissolved organic carbon. But also these chemicals can be greenhouse gases, because when plastic receives sunlight radiation, it can release CO2 and methane. So I'm starting now with a project. I have now the emission, the greenhouse gases that the plastic emit during its photodegradation, and how significant can be this source can be in terms of related to other source of greenhouse gases. So this is that I'm studying now. Thank you so much for your attention. Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
I would like to invite the scientists, as I say their name, if you would step up, and then the person who will recognize you afterwards. So our second scientist is Seda Keskin Avcı, if you would be so kind and come up and join me. Seda is Professor of Chemical and Biological Engineering, Department of Koç University, and the Director of Nanomaterials, Energy and Molecular Energy Applications of Non-Metal Organic Frameworks. She has been recognized as one of the outstanding women in chemical engineering across the globe, and in 2022, she was also recognized by the Chemical Engineering Research and Design Journal. Seda Hanım. And to recognize her achievements, I would like to invite Ana Costa, Rector of the University of Évora in Portugal, also Associate Professor in the Department of Plant and Sciences at the University of Évora.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I am Seda Keskin Avcı. I'm a professor at the Chemical and Biological Engineering Department of Koç University. I work on computational design and discovery of materials for energy, environment, and biomedical applications. My research is mainly focusing on atomistic modeling of materials that can capture CO2 to stop one of the most important challenges of our world, global warming, climate change. I am very honored and humbled to be a part of this amazing science team composed of inspiring women scientists. I would like to thank the organizing committee and selection committee for this honor. I would like to thank my research group members, all past and present members, because I'm very lucky to work with brilliant young scientists. I would like to thank Koç University for giving me the opportunity to do the highest quality research. And I would like to thank the funding agencies, especially the Scientific Technologic Research Council of Turkey, TÜBİTAK, and ERC, European Research Council, for supporting me in the last decade. And just 4 days ago, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of Republic of Turkey. So right now, if I am speaking in front of you as a Turkish woman scientist, I owe this to the founder of our republic, our great mentor, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. He has always valued science, and he actually said, if one day my words is against the science, choose the science. So I believe we should always choose the science, and I imagine a science world where researchers are purely and only evaluated based on their research impact, not based on their gender, but based on the research that they make to change the world. I believe our Mediterranean science team will be the best example to achieve this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Seda Hanım. Our next wonderful scientist is Serim İlday, Assistant Professor at the Institute of Material Science and Nanotechnology and National Nanotechnology Research Center at Bilkent University in Ankara. Her research is at the intersection of soft condensed matter, non-equilibrium, and nonlinear physics and interfaces with material science, nanotechnology, and mechanobiology. Serim Hanım. To recognize the achievement, we invite Gülsün Sağlamer, President of Evora and former Rector of Istanbul Technical University, where she is Professor of Architecture.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you to the selection committee, and thank you all these wonderful women. It's a great pleasure to be here. I feel like I'm among Amazon. These Amazons are not only fighters in a male-dominated environment, but they are also fighting with their own ideas and how, if and how they are useful or not. And this is the best part. They are not challenging the male-dominated world, but they are also challenging their perception. And I value that a lot, and thank you very much. I collected a lot of role models today to look for in the future. If I stumble on something, I would just turn my face towards you. I've been at Bilkent University, and the work that I was nominated, I did at Bilkent, but recently moved to Ruhr University Bochum in Germany almost 10 months ago. And I am working on complex systems. I'm a physicist, trying to get this going, sorry. No, this should work better. Okay. Unfortunately, there's no agreed upon definition on complex systems. And the best definition I've heard recently was, I know it when I see it. This is why I collected several video files where you can see how the political environment changes over the years in Europe and Mediterranean areas. And then you can see that this beautiful development of fruit fly embryo and ocean tides and how collective behavior of animals are changing and economy. So these are all complex systems, and the common denominator is that they are dynamic and adaptive. They change their environment, and then their environment changes back their behavior and structure. And I would like to understand in what capacity, how, and why. And I first think about structure formation. And when you see superficially similar structures are appearing from the simplest systems to very complex systems in all different scales. And one thing that I understand from this picture is that there has to be simple physical rules governing this pattern formation, this structure formation. And my research led to the understanding of how structure is emerging in different materials, in very simple materials. And also, second part of my research is about complexity, behavioral complexity emerging from different systems. And I was particularly interested in the origin of life and how to define life and what would count as a life. And as in complex systems, there's no agreed upon definition of life, and we actually assign some of the words to living beings. And with these words, we made a study to understand if we can observe the same behavior if we use simple passive identical particles, not so complex in their nature. And if they come up with this complex behavior mimicking the living systems. And our investigations lead us to study these systems in different model systems. These model systems are theoretical and experimental in nature, and maybe I can, yeah. There's a little bit delay time there. Anyway, so in these model systems, in the first study, what we did was we used artificial atoms and research on structure formation and complex behavior emergence. And we showed that lifelike behavior that we saw earlier, self-regulation, self-healing, self-replication, and so on and so forth, can come through from simple parts, simple artificial atoms. In the second study, we went ahead and asked if the physical dynamics that we found in our earlier study apply to more complex systems as well. And we studied also quantum dots with 3 nanometer diameter, up towards the human cells with 1500 micrometers large, and some of them are passive, some of them are active particles. Their environments are completely different, but they didn't matter. And we discovered universal collection behavior far from thermodynamic equilibrium. In thermal equilibrium, universal behavior was known before, but it was really, people were really curious about their existence in far from equilibrium systems. And with this study, we showed them that it is possible, and far from equilibrium systems are can also universal. In the third study, we also went through analyzing the underlying randomness in the system, stochasticity, fluctuations, all that things that a large community of researchers were trying to suppress or just ignore, but we highlighted them. When we highlighted them, we figured out that there is an order in disorder. If you look at the systems differently. And this study also led to another idea, which is a very provocative idea that I would like to follow in the coming future. But all the top row studies were the result of a study that was at the bottom, which had no physical relation with the upper part, but then for the physical dynamics, they were absolutely similar. And these superficial similarities, not only superficial, but quantitative that we find. And we are following on those steps. And as the ultimate goal, I would like to build a replicator from Star Trek, and I would like to build materials out of thin air. But before that, I have to go ahead with following up the very little tiny idea that I figured out from the last study that we showed, where we saw that systems thermalize, but the connections between the artificial atoms never cease to exist. So there's a memory, there's an information processing going on, although the system goes back to, seemingly goes back to its original position. And I figured out that this was a common problem in quantum computation and also gravitational physics. And my system is really in between. It's a mesoscale system that I would like to connect this idea together. And I would like to acknowledge the people that I work with over the years. So this was one of our yearly gatherings. So these are mostly undergraduate students that I work with. And I would like to acknowledge the funding agencies that supported our research. And thank you for being here and choosing us as the representatives.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Our next scientist is Reja Cherkaoui El-Mursli. She received her PhD in nuclear physics and joined the Faculty of Sciences at the University Mohammed V in Rabat as a research professor. In 2022, she was nominated as a member of the European Academy of Science and Art and a member of the Management Board of the National Center for Scientific and Technical Research. Reja Cherkaoui El-Mursli, would you join us up here, please? And to recognize her achievements, I invite Marina Trimarchi, Associate Professor of Nuclear Physics at the University of Messina and Vice Director of the Messina University Press. Also, she is a member of the National Institute for Nuclear Physics, of the Italian Physics Society, and of the Italian Society of History of Physics and Astronomy. Would you like me to hold the jacket? I think after this effort, we need a photo not only from the front, but also from the back, because their names are in the back. So this is going to be a couple of interesting photographs.
Good evening, dear colleagues, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. I am proud and honored to be there, to be chosen to have this award, and also I am honored to be in this very, very beautiful country. Thank you very much. Today I participate to this discovery of the Higgs boson. I have many research in my career, but I will present this because from this research, I have innovated many things in my country. For example, the first master in medical physics in 2007, to also simulation in medical physics, in radiotherapy and nuclear medicine, and we work together between physics and physician. And this is very, very important. And others, thanks to this participation. So, if the universe did not exist, it would have to be invited. But with what? What are the elementary blocks that constitute that make up matter? This is the question the particle physics tries to answer. And this adventure, the adventure began early at 1900s by the discovery of the first elementary particles, the photon and the electron. Anyone knows this, but these two first are very, very important. And the research continued many decades, for decades. And in the 1960s, a model emerged, and these models will be later called the standard model of elementary particles. This model claims to describe our universe with around 30 particles. And all these particles have been discovered experimentally with different experiments. And I will focus on the last one, is the Higgs boson, because I work in this collaboration. And how do we do particle physics? The idea is very simple. We take two particles, we let them collide, and we use a very important, is the equivalence between mass and energy, is the famous Einstein formula, equation. C is the speed of light, it's a constant. So there is proportion between mass and energy. And when this particle collide, you have energy release. And this release energy will be transformed in other temporary particle, and this particle will decay. And we will detect the decay product to have the property of our particle we are looking for. And to do that, in fact, to create this environment, we will use the collider, the big accelerator in the world, the Large Hadron Collider. Imagine a 27-kilometer circular tunnel, buried at 100 meters down, and you have a proton who circulates in this. And this proton have the velocity, the speed, it's 99.99% of the speed of light. So it's new, all that is new, and we are trying to explain what's happened just after the Big Bang with that. So here we have this, but we have to detect decay products. How we have to do? We have to use a big detector. And here we will have the ATLAS experiment. ATLAS is the acronym of a toroidal liquid argon apparatus experiment. And we are member of this very huge detectors. The detectors, and to construct and to analyze data for the detector, we establish a very big international collaboration. And in this collaboration, you saw you have around 3,000 scientists. So thanks to internet, thanks to the grid, informatic grid, computing grid, we can work together every week. And this is very, very important. I am living in Morocco, but I go to CERN to take data, and I come back to Morocco for analysis. Of course, we have many students with us. Then we collect all the decay products that do this huge, but when the universe began, no particle had mass. And here, particle gains the mass from fundamental fields associated to the Higgs boson. So, when the Higgs boson was discovered at CERN in Geneva in 2012, it confirmed the existence of this field. And this is the discovery of the century. It's very, very important because it's opened other windows, if you want, for research in this area. And this is very, you have here in the middle, when we discover this, we discovered before, but we have not to give a response before. And Morocco joined this collaboration in 1996, and at this moment, nobody in Morocco thinks that we will be a member of this discovery. And it's very important for a country. And the consequence is important because not only to be there, but also to have many doctoral students in very high level, because here you have to go quickly in research. It's changed each day. And you learn many things: radio protection, safety, electronic, computing. Donc all that is very important for the future of our country. And scientists here is very important, and scientists have well established here. And the question we have we other things to discover? Yes, of course. Many questions remains. Why? If you look here, the matter we know. Here, the matter you know, the matter make up all stars, galaxies, all the things you can see. It's only 5% you can see. All the others, you have dark matter, it's very important. We don't know what is this dark matter. So we are looking for this. But we can detect this dark matter thanks to its gravitation. So we know we can't, it's invisible for us, but if you look astrophysics, you have its gravitation, and so you have dark matter. And you have dark energy. Dark energy is the vacuum in the space, only that. So we have to discover this dark matter. So the question is that we have the Higgs boson. The Higgs boson and this field associated to Higgs boson give mass. So this invisible mass have mass. So if the Higgs boson interacts with this dark matter, we can discover what is this dark matter. Thank you.
Merci infiniment. Our next scientist is Safa Kumari, Syrian plant virologist who heads the Seed Health and Virology Laboratory at the International Center for Agricultural Research in the dry areas. She is known for developing superseeds resistant to the region's most devastating viruses in faba Over the last 25 years, CEPHA produced 20 different diagnostic kits for virus identification and made them available to national agricultural research systems laboratories. To recognize her achievement and her award today, please Lorena Sanchez, creator and coordinator of the Mediterranean Science Team and scientific journalist, join us. Thank you.
And help you if you want.
Might be a little hot, but I'm sure you will. There we go.
Perfect.
My presentation. You can use the mic. Sorry, I prepared my presentation as a data show because she asked me to fix my presentation just for 3 minutes. Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for the organizer, for a European Women Association, for the Qadir Has University, as well as for Journey members. Thanks for you to give me the opportunity to be with you today. I'm Syrian, from Syria, from the east of Mediterranean basin, and I'm working for the International Center for Agriculture Research in the dry areas. My position is head of the Seed Health Laboratory plant virologist. I born and live in Aleppo, Syria, which is one of the oldest inhabited city since the 60 millennium BC. My life is really full with the achievement and succeed. This is when I was 6 years old, when I joined the primary school. The second picture is when I elected for the president of the Arab Society of Plant Protection. My background is agriculture. I study agriculture. My master, my PhD, mainly on plant protection in virology part. I joined ICARDA in 1986 in Aleppo, Syria, and as a casual laborers, and then I become a senior scientist in 2003. And similar to the other Syrian refugees, I left Aleppo in 2012 to Tunisia with only one suitcase and a few seeds of resistant virus. And then I relocated again to Lebanon in 2015 for another responsibility to be handled the Seed Health Laboratory as well as for the virology research. During my life, I saved all the resistant material from Syria based on the bad time in Syria. Also, I developed a very high resistant material for the main viruses. I developed diagnostic kits for the virus detection, as well as I help our national program for the virus survey and virus identification. I attend hundreds conference, national, international, regional conference in the region and also worldwide. And during this, I presented my scientific research at different occasions. I trained thousands of students, research assistants, scientists, art farmers in many development countries. I received many awards and certification of appreciation for my effort in research and training research in the region. Selected in BBC 100 Women in 2020 list for my several achievements in plant virology research. I selected in the Mediterranean Face of Science Midnight Spain 2021. And I'm membership in many professional community in the region and in the awards as well. I published more than 200 or 300 publications, either in refereed or non-refereed book chapters, as well as in the abstract. And I made a lot of interviews in different worldwide international journals. I will do my best to, will continue to make children and farmers happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Shukran. We have one more awardee present with us today. We are missing five. I would like to invite Najat Saliba. She's a member of the Parliament of the Lebanese government. She is a professor in chemistry at the American University of Beirut. And Mrs. Saliba leads several projects related to understanding the chemistry of inhalable tobacco and non-tobacco smoke and atmospheric aerosols. Please join us on stage. To recognize and present her award, I would like to invite Ricardo Dominguez, creator and coordinator of MedNight 2020 and 2021. He currently works with the purpose of creating a brotherhood among Mediterranean countries around the culture of science.
Since I had the privilege to talk about my research in the morning, I thought I would talk about my role as an educator, science educator this time. And perhaps about science communication. Somebody was talking to me during the break about science communication. In times of great uncertainty, war, destruction, and devastation, our individual identities may face a profound threat. More than ever, during these tragic times, it becomes more imperative for us to express our identity, emotions, values, and experiences, be it through words, protests, or alternative means. We want our voices to be heard, tell our own stories, and capture the growing pain as the hours and days pass. It is our duty, and we owe to future generations to preserve our collective memory. The Gaza war outbreak left the homes reduced to rubble, people dead by the thousands, and the entire neighborhoods eradicated. This complete destruction of the land and the complete vanishing of entire families have stripped away layers of self-protection and community entity and unity. This has cast doubt upon the essence and purpose of the lives of the survivors. Thus, it begs the question of how our universities, esteemed bastion of diverse thought exchange among scholars and students, can silence the victims' families and their supporters, or claim to make decisions on their behalf. It is crucial to ask why so many individuals in higher education align themselves without question in such situations, challenging thereby the core mission of higher education institutions. Despite the emphasis in research and teaching on inclusive programs, we have witnessed a significant regression in the past months with a marked absence of protection for the free speech. The free speech of Palestinians, Arabs, and Muslims on many US and Western campuses. Such bullying and politically motivated stances by university leadership stifle the voices, safety, and hope of future generations, raising fundamental questions about equality on our campuses. In a world where every human life matters, it is imperative that we walk the talk. Every student's voice is vital, and our core mission should remain unchanged: to provide a platform for safety, reflection, respectful dialogue, data sharing, and the exchange of ideas in these challenging times. As technology advances at an exponential rate, how can we imagine AI without ethical standards to address biases, safeguard data privacy, and counter identity-related issues and fake news? Ethics for and social justice should be embraced by every major on campus, serving on our society's guardians of truth, ensuring an open-minded and accepting approach to differences. These values guide our decisions and shape our futures, be it in science or otherwise. Thank you.
Forgive me, I preempted myself. We have next another wonderful scientist, Sara Abdulkader, environmental health PhD student at the Institute of Global Health and Human Ecology at the American Institute of Cairo. Environmental engineer and PhD fellow in global health and human ecology, specializing in water and wastewater treatment, climate change, and green buildings. And to recognize her achievements, would you please join us, Nagwa Abdel Megid, professor at the Human Genetics Unit at the National Research Center in Egypt.
Okay, because the story matters. So I think this is a story, not my researchers, but it's my story. Actually, I'm a civil engineer. This is my background, and my master in environmental engineering. Now I'm a PhD fellow in global health and human ecology. This is all of these background because I want to reach the sustainability aspect. And that's why I specialized in water and wastewater management, green and sustainable building, and climate change. My goal in the researches is to detect the community needs, engineer sustainable solutions to promote sustainable development. This has started with my project in environmental engineering, and it was about sustainable treatment of Taiwanese wastewater using low-cost sustainable materials, and namely the cement kiln dust which is, I don't know if you know it, it's the waste from the cement production. And I used it to treat the, to remove the trivalent chromium from tanneries wastewater. And I was successful to remove 90% from the chromium and to recover 30% of the removed chromium to be reused in the industry. And then I participate in a research team as a research assistant in the solar canal with Dr. Shireen Al-Baradei. And this gets me involved or introduced me to irrigation and how irrigation in Egypt has a problem due to the water scarcity. And this gave me my idea for the PhD research to develop an on-site sustainable treatment system for agricultural drainage water. Actually, in Egypt, we produce around 17 billion cubic meter of drainage water, and this water can't be wasted. Actually, we reuse around 4 billion cubic meters of this drainage water. However, we have a problem in the quality of the irrigation and this water drainage, the wastewater or agricultural drainage water. Because, you know, we have in the drains, sometimes they dump the industrial and domestic wastewater, and this lower or reduce the quality of the water in these drains. So the project is in progress, but we have a promising results, and the project was awarded by the L'Oreal UNESCO for Women in Science. And now my original specialization as an engineer, I participate in the team that produced the translucent wood panels. These panels, we introduced these panels to be used in the greenhouses to reduce the consumption of water and energy, and we successfully produced panels, translucent wood panels, and we have the second prize in the UN Innovative Green Competition and the first prize in the Climate Launchpad. We developed this as a startup. We have this ambition to make a startup to produce these panels and to go to the business field. And I was so proud to participate in the Green Social Housing Initiative. I was working in the Ministry of Housing, the Egyptian Ministry of Housing, in this project, which is a promising project, to develop 25,000 units of green social housing to benefit the low-income families in Egypt. And this is the first step or the first level in the initiative, and we hope that this initiative continue to develop more and more units for low-income projects. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be selected in this wonderful team. Maybe you can give me the goalkeeper position. I like to keep goals going. So thank you so much, and I'm so proud to be here. Thank you for Kadir Has and for Ms. Golson, and also thank you for the jury. Thank you, Dr. Nagwa. I'm so happy to be here in Istanbul and Kadir Has. Thank you so much.
I thank you all on behalf of Midnight for being here. This concludes the awarding of the T-shirts and recognizing our wonderful scientists. Gülsün Hanım has given us the names of all 11 of these wonderful women. By the way, who drew these lovely depictions? I wish the artist had a signature. I think it's a wonderful, really, grouping of everyone. I believe, Gülsün Hanım, shall we proceed? Would you have any other additional comments or words, or Mr. Rodriguez? Absolutely. So can we invite first the scientists with the front and back photo, and then the entire group, I hope. There we are. After the photos, we will reconvene downstairs for a cocktail at the museum. I think if you leave it in, we can see what it says in the front. You might want that in the photo. Yes, and I'm going to cut in the back as well. When you turn your back, your name is shown. And from the back, and from the back. Thank you and congratulations. What a joy. Mümkün olduğu kadar hata yapmadan denedim. Sizler harikasınız. So let us regroup at the museum. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.